We are live. Yay! Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Chris Cahill, and I am here live with my colleagues, Kate Carbon and Ryan Fukuda.
Hello.
And you've seen me having discussions with either one of them before. They exist together in the same room at the same time. And we actually have a whole discussion about what we want to get into tonight, which is talking about past lives. I will just introduce a little bit. As clairvoyant teachers, which we all are, and as psychics, we have each given many readings reading past lives, but also we teach people how to look at that. And there are specific ways that we do this and ways that we like to go about helping somebody see past lives and working with past lives as a healing, or I don't know. I got to tell you that past lives are one of my favorite kinds of readings to give.
I agree.
Yeah. Anything more you want to say, Ryan?
Maybe we can start talking about kind of like some of our favorite things about it. So I think one of the things that I have been enjoying teaching around past lives, but also just in terms of past lives or kind of giving readings around past lives, is this idea that why do we do this, right? And teaching the concept that we, past lives are really awesome to look at, right? Or to kind of go and sort of learn about what those are, but also why are you looking at this lifetime, right? This past life. And how is it relevant now? Because most people have had many past lives. And so there's a lot to choose from, but why are we looking at this particular past life, right? And how is it relevant now? And I love looking at that because there's always some interesting connection to
Yeah.
what's happening in their lives, right? If you're giving a reading or if a student is looking at this, right? And there's always something really important to look at in the moment, right? When you're looking at a past life and how is that connected to right now? So for example, it would be like if somebody was like in a past life as like somewhere in the gold rush or something like that, and there's something about commerce or something about like learning how to survive or something like that, and bringing that into present time and looking at it, it's like cool, like that you can kind of connect to that, right? And maybe there's some information there that you could learn about yourself because you've been through this before. So that's an example. I know I talked a lot.
Well,
But
you did
yeah.
not talk too much. I just wanted to, that was a good way to describe it because I know we're not going to be on for a super long time tonight, but we
Yep.
may end up doing an extended discussion on this at some other point because there is a lot to say. One thing I do want to add to just to piggyback on what you were saying is that often when somebody has a past life reading or a past life comes up in a reading, they're just so intrigued, like, well, what was I doing? And people, we have a lot of like value judgments about a good life versus a life that's not so good. But one thing that we tend to do as readers and as teachers is like you were saying, like looking for the lives that are actually showing up, like what's actually being stimulated. That might be something that's coming in to remind a person of talents they have or of information they have. But it could also be something that's gotten stuck. And so when we read it, when you say hello to a past life and read it, or it could just be a fragment of that past life where energy got stuck. Maybe there's unfinished business, i.e. karma or something else. We can help clear it up, which is kind of a neat thing to do, to be able to, and you can do it for yourself. It's something that people can learn to do for themselves. But also where people are like, wait, was I like, and they might have this whole status picture of like was I Cleopatra? Was I whoever? Like, it's really less important to have been somebody who was like really high and mighty. It's not about that. It's about what did you get to bring back? What did you get to grow or learn, or how did you evolve? Like, what were the choices? And again, not from a value of good or bad, just simply what was it? That's it. Like the thing, and I'll add this one more thing, is the thing that I learned from really starting to read past lives years ago was that I stepped out of judgment about what my spirit wanted to do a little bit more, like
Mm-hmm.
because we can look at things now and go, why would I choose that? Why would I choose to go like live through the Black Plague or, live all these things? There's always reasons. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kate,
Has
you
anybody
want
yeah,
to
sorry. I was gonna say, has anybody asked you, was I Jesus?
I'm like,
That's
sorry.
happened to me before. I don't know about anybody, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't think so.
No. Sorry, Kate.
No, that's fine. That's so yeah, I was just gonna say what I like about past life readings is just how interesting they are, right? Again, it's kind of that idea of like, oh, you're reading like oftentimes you're reading like, well, always a time and oftentimes a place, right, that you've never been to, and the information that comes up is just so fascinating. So I love reading past lives for that reason. And then what I was going to add on to what you were talking about was kind of finding like why you're looking into this. And I had some people recently say like that they really felt it in their bodies. And so I think that's something that's really interesting to note, is that when you're doing a past life reading with somebody, it may be you, well, it is in a place and a time that you've never been in this body, right? But then especially when you connect it to why you're reading it, you can really feel it in the body, which is kind of cool. Not for everybody, but that happens, you know. And I thought that was cool.
And emotionally too.
Yeah, you can
Being
oftentimes feel
very
it.
emotional.
It feels very real.
Definitely. And then also relationships that people have with people in their lives now. Sometimes someone will say specifically, can you see, I know I had a past life with my sister or my partner or whoever. And it may not always be that they're having necessarily the kind of relationship they want with that person in present time. And it keeps coming up like there's something. What is it? And that's fun to look for too, because we do that as well.
Yeah.
And
I
Yeah,
just saw that recently, and so I'm just laughing about it now because I'm like, oh yeah.
yeah, 9 times out of 10, yeah, the person in your life right now is you probably have like some sort of unfinished business with, or you've had a past life with them, right? Like there's something there, whether you're connected to them in some way or feeling like you're magnetized towards them, right? And I think that there's something really cool to look at in a past life for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and because when we teach this whole arc of past lives, I mean, there's like a lot of information that goes into it because it is an arc. I mean, this month of March 2026 is the past life month for a particular class that all three of us teach in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun, but there was other information that needed to be part of that, like learning to see agreements and things like that comes up in these past lives. What did I agree to, or what did I want to do? What did I hope to have, or what was I wishing to get in that life? And that you don't always, but it could just be it's part of working towards something that you're doing as a being, as a spirit in a body, like working towards something. We don't always get it the first time.
We sure don't.
And it's all about the growth too, right? Isn't it? Like, although there are lifetimes that you get to rest a little, but really a lot of the times it's about what are you getting to experience? Because you need a body to experience so many things and to do those things.
Right. And different types of bodies and different types of ways of being and all of it. Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Yeah, because that's how you learn, right? As a spirit, is like having all these different experiences and all these different ways. And that's where what I love what you said, Chris, was like none of it's like wrong, right? It's like nothing, it's not good or bad, right? Because I think we're the school of Earth is like you learn so much, right? Over lifetimes. And yeah.
It's so
People
rich.
Yeah, and people always ask like, "Well, when am I finished?" And it's like, "Well, you know when you're finished, right?" Like, I don't know how many lifetimes this is going to take. I don't know.
Yeah. Or somebody, when am I going to get it right? And I'm like, well, you're in judgment of what's happening for yourself. I mean, I'm not the one to like tell you what that should be,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this was a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Kate, how about you? Anything else you want to pop in there?
I know I was just thinking about something and then it completely left my space. I was like, "Ooh," it's just like I feel like the topic of past lives is so I think about it a lot and I think it's so fascinating. Like it'll just kind of come into my space and all. I think the interesting thing is when you like meet people and you're like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure I've had like a past life with this person." Like, I don't know what it's all about. It kind of happens and I just think it's fascinating, you know?
Yeah, they're so
Yeah.
familiar, or you just feel
Yeah.
like there's something there. You really know that person, or they're, or on the other hand, it could be a less than pleasant, right?
Right,
They can
and
be
then
very
there's a lot of
repulsive.
weird yeah,
I need to get
mhm,
away from this person or something. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is really fun. And we've had this discussion before, and I think we were talking about it a little before we started the month with all the classes, because we've had 3 classes in a row, and then there's another practice session this week for the same group. And it's just really fun to watch people kind of grow in the information. But the conversation that I think we had beforehand was about, did I talk about this with you guys? But it was like those things you remember as a child, or when you as a child might have just, where you could look back as an adult and say, I knew that, like I knew about this, I knew that I was there, or I knew something. We're not judging it the same way. We're not like
Hmm.
trying to make sense of it, or is it real, is it not real? There is a real connection. And there's so many people, there's plenty of people out there like proving it scientifically, or
Yep.
getting reports from children who remember certain things and then looking it up. I, as an adult, I like to look at it from the perspective of what's the hello to your spirit. And I think a past life reading is such a great hello. Like it really helps someone either see for themselves, or help someone else see how rich they are, like how much more they have than they might give themselves credit for having or being.
I think part of that also what I was thinking is like, because it's a past life, right? It's like not exactly your life now, it's a past life. I think there's a lot of freedom that comes by giving that reading, and
Yeah.
even though you are really connected to it, I think that there's sort of like a step off, and so sometimes it's easier to hear that because it's real, but it's just a different do you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yes.
think
Hmm.
to read it, I think as a reader, it helps you become a better reader actually to read past lives because you, like, allow the creativity to come in because you don't know exactly what was in, a different country 10,000 years ago or 5,000
Hmm.
years ago or whatever, and then same as, like, when you're reading it. So I think the information it's just a different type of reading in a way.
Well, I
Hmm.
have a fun thing I just thought of when you were saying that, that we could end with. Really quick little, just a blurb from your favorite past life you gave a reading, a favorite past life you read.
Oh, wow.
I'll go first.
Favorite past life that
Might
you
have
read.
talked about this before. When I was giving readings, when I was still like, I might have been a teacher already, but when I still lived in Chicago, and the school that I was part of was had a tent at the Halsted Street Market Days in Chicago, and we were giving readings, and a gentleman in a fishnet bodysuit and black leather hot pants sat down in front of me, and I said, what would you like a reading on? And he said, can you read my past lives as a priest? I'm not kidding. And he
I
was
love it.
serious. He was not messing, because I opened my eyes to look at him. I'm like, is he messing with? No, he was like very serious, because he knew he had a couple and they were bothering him. It was
That's
something
so
he was
interesting.
trying to resolve. It was really fun. It was a great reading, and voila, he went away happy. Anyone else?
Yeah, well, I'll add to that, which is like it's so interesting when people are very sure about what the past life was and they really get not necessarily stuck on it, but just really are like really fascinated by that or just really want to connect with us. But like I feel like the way in which we teach past lives or how we read past lives is that it's not necessarily about like we were kind of talking about like accuracy in the sense of like oh you were this thing and now you have to hold on to it. It's more of like you've had so many past lives and there's so many different perspectives right around that. So if I read a past life for somebody it may be different for like for the two of you reading somebody else's past life, right? Like you're seeing it from your clairvoyance and your perspective. So that's what I think is so great and exciting about it. But I don't really have a story, but I do remember or recall a reading that I did where I was reading the past life, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh shoot, I actually was in this past life with this person, and I like freaked out. It was when I actually started reading past lives, like, oh my god, oh, I'm in this past life. And so yeah, that's kind of stayed with me for a long time, where I just like realized like, oh shoot, like I was there, kind of thing.
Wow.
That was
You had
really
karma with
interesting.
them, so you got to clear it up in that moment.
Yep.
You got to finish something.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's very cool. I can't think of a specific example. I'm just thinking of like, I like the ones that like I've read and had read in me, like a lot of ones where people are like different types of healers and different types of clairvoyance in like the past. I think those are fun. And then I think the spicy ones are kind of fun too. Like I think one time somebody read me as like a, I don't know, like a prostitute or like a burlesque dancer or something. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. Or I read somebody as that. I don't know. It was just kind of funny, like the different types of lives that are very removed from the ones that we have now, you know?
That's so great. This is so fun to talk about. I know we have a time limit for tonight, but I want to thank you both for being here. And I don't know, I think in future, maybe we'll come at this from another angle. It's just so much fun to discuss, and there's so much to say. So thanks everybody who is watching us live, and also those who will be watching the video when I post it tomorrow. It'll be getting out there in my newsletter. But Ryan and Kate, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you both soon.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
And we need to end our video. Here we go. I found it. Bye.